out of church for probably 4 months. And I kept seeing the signs because I lived right off of Denton Road. And I kept seeing the signs at Kroger and right at the end of my street. So I was at Kroger shopping. Apparently Kroger's this big place. And Church of the Ridge was bagging groceries and taking them to your car. They bagged my groceries for me and said, why don't you come down the street at Church of the Ridge? And I said, okay, I think I will. And that next Sunday I went, and lo and behold, I was at Kroger again, and I ran into Sally Rosser.
I worked at South Quality Middle School with Donna Izella for several years teaching, and we had kind of lost touch with each other, and I ran into her at the grocery store at Kroger in the frozen food, and talked to her about what was going on in our lives, and she knew that we had left a church and asked me if we had found a church home, and I told her no, we really had not found a church home. And she said, well, you need to come to Church at the Ridge. Come for Easter if you don't come for anything else. Well, we actually came the next week, and then we're there for Easter and for the 2-year celebration and different things, and just really found a home. I worked with the community makeover for several times, and then led a team doing that. So it was just like, I just really became a servant to others, and was asked later to head up the water team for the 4th of July fireworks.
A couple years ago, the very first, one of the first opportunities we had to really connect in our community in a broad way was to be involved with the Paulding County Fireworks Show. And it's here at Taylor Farm Park. Usually there's about 8,000 or 10,000 people sitting out here on the Saturday after the 4th of July. And we've always been involved with this event from the standpoint of just handing out water. We contacted the county and said, can we come out and just hand out cold bottles of water to people? And they said sure, and so we came out and we helped to do the parking, and we walked around, our teenagers and other volunteers from the Ridge walked around with little wet wagons full of ice and coolers, and we handed out cold bottles of water, and we were giving glow sticks to the kids, and then just handed a little business card that invited them to Church of the Ridge.
A couple years back, we had moved out here to Paulding County. We're looking for a church to go to. We both knew that we needed church. We needed to be with the people from church. And I worked for the fire department and had heard about Church of the Ridge a handful of times. Had seen the pins, had seen stickers or t-shirts and magnets and whatnot, and had mentioned it to Angie a handful of times about it, and she had also seen it, and it kept popping up in odd places where we weren't expecting it.
Fireworks outreach. You know, everyone in Paulding County goes to the fireworks, and that's where everybody's going to be at that night. And he wasn't on shift. We had a new baby at home, and all the stresses that go along with 2 people trying to find their way with now 4 kids. And so things weren't just so bright and sunny as we sat there on our little blanket. All of a sudden, like, these people just start showing up, and they're all wearing red shirts that say "Don't go to church" on the front of it. That's interesting. That gets your attention right from the get-go. So we're like, what are they doing? The group starts coming closer to us, and they're stopping at all these blankets, and we're like, you know, these people are just selling their church, and they're going to come up and want to hold hands and have like this whole big seance with us or something. Here we go. This should be interesting. Here comes someone. She is not sweating. Okay, this is my aura that I remember. She is like fresh. The heat does not even affect her. She is not wilted. She's got it all together, and she's like, would you like some water? And it was just from Church at the Ridge, and it has an invite card, and it's just that I want what you have. How are you all together and I'm sitting here completely falling apart? You know, do you just have to go to this church and it's all like right for you? Do you find it right at that moment? How do I get what you have? And what was funny is that it's Church at the Ridge, the church that, you know, you'd seen the pins, you'd seen the flyers, you'd heard about this series, that series, and here it was again. It was just the simplest of services of her just giving us that bottle of water and that breaking point of, we really need to go to that church because it keeps showing up, and just that, I want what she has.
Peace.
That peace that she had in the midst of all of my anger and how hot I was and bickering, and this person just appears in this church that says, don't go to church, and on the back it says, be the church. And that's what she was being that day to us. And came out and just with a simple bottle of water changed the whole context of it. And, you know, when she went to that church, it wasn't like being at church. It was like being with your family again.
Coming to Church of the Ridge has definitely taught us how to strengthen our marriage, how to be a team, a unified front for our kids. It's the church that I found that I love. And being that it's in an elementary school, I think that's great because there is no set church building, so to speak. Church really is the people.
Since then, we've both been baptized and
Our kids have been baptized.
professed our love for the Lord, and through that, our 3 older children have been baptized.
To be able to stand up in front of the church and be there with my children as they accepted Christ as their Lord and their Savior and admitted that that's something that they wanted to do. It wasn't something that we forced upon them. It just was a very powerful feeling for me. It makes you proud of your kids for them wanting on their own to follow Christ.
We got to do the fireworks outreach, and I was able to coordinate all of the volunteers, get the water to the park and hand out waters and glow sticks and
Invite cards.
And it was just neat to know that we were back out there doing what had originally brought us there. Because you never know the impact that you're having on other people when you're doing something as simple as handing out a bottle of water or sweeping a floor or planting a bush, or just those simple tasks that you're just doing that just come naturally. You don't realize the impact that you're having on other people. Because I was asked the question, do you think she remembers giving you that bottle of water? No, I was one of 4,000 people there that night. She doesn't remember me. But I remember the impact she had on my night in that moment. So that in itself has made me want to have a bigger impact on others, or to live my life every day knowing that other people are looking at me, or other people are watching me, even though I may not know it, but they're seeing me and I'm modeling my life and my family after Christ.